If your Azure security still leans on a virtual network boundary and a trusted internal zone, you are defending a castle that no longer has walls. Zero Trust assumes the network is already hostile, so every request must prove who it is and whether it is allowed every single time. In the next few minutes, I will take Zero Trust apart specifically for Azure workloads, the identity control plane, how conditional access actually evaluates a request, workload identities, network microsegmentation, and the production gotchas that quietly break things. The core mental model in Zero Trust, identity replaces the network as the primary control plane. In Azure, that means Microsoft Entra ID, formerly Azure Active Directory, sits in front of nearly everything. Three principles drive it. Verify explicitly using identity, device state, location, and risk signals. Use least privilege, so a compromised token grants almost nothing. And assume breach, designing so one foothold does not become lateral movement. Everything that follows is just these three ideas applied to concrete Azure services. Conditional access is the policy engine that enforces verify explicitly. Think of it as an if-then evaluated at token issuance. The signals are the conditions, user or workload identity, sign-in risk from identity protection, device compliance from Intune, the application, and the network location. The decision is grant, block, or grant with controls like multi-factor authentication or requiring a compliant device. A critical detail, policies are additive and evaluated together, and the most restrictive result wins. Test with report-only mode first because a misordered exclusion can lock out every administrator at once. Zero Trust is not only about humans. Service-to-service calls need identity too, and this is where teams cut corners. Stop storing secrets in app settings. Use managed identities so Azure issues and rotates tokens for your app service, container, or virtual machine automatically, with no credential in your code. For workloads running outside Azure, like GitHub Actions or Amazon Web Services, AWS, use Workload Identity Federation, which trades an external OIDC token for an Entra token with no stored secret at all. Where you genuinely need a service principal secret, give it a short lifetime and rotate it. Identity is primary, but network controls still matter as defense in depth, now scoped tightly rather than trusted broadly. Put platform services like storage and SQL behind private endpoints so traffic never touches the public internet, then disable public network access entirely. Use network security groups and application security groups to microsegment, so a compromised front end cannot reach the database tier directly. The goal is not a hard shell with a soft center. It is many small segments where each hop requires both a network path and an identity that is authorized. Least privilege decays the moment you grant standing access. Scope role-based access control, RBAC, assignments to the narrowest resource group or resource, not the subscription, and prefer built-in roles over owner. Then make privileged access temporary with privileged identity management, PIM, so admins activate roles just in time, with approval and an expiry, instead of holding them permanently. Pair this with access reviews so dormant assignments get removed. As a rule of thumb, if a human has standing write access to production, you have already lost part of your zero trust posture. A few gotchas. First, break glass accounts. Always exclude 2 emergency accounts from conditional access, store their credentials offline, and monitor their use, or a bad policy locks everyone out. Second, managed identities still need RBAC. Enabling one does nothing until you assign a role. Third, beware token caching. Since revoking access does not invalidate a token already issued for up to its lifetime unless you enable continuous access evaluation. Fourth, logging is not on by default at the depth you want. Send sign-in and audit logs to Log Analytics and watch with Microsoft Sentinel. To recap, in Zero Trust for Azure, identity through Entra ID is the control plane, conditional access enforces verify explicitly, managed identities and federation kill stored secrets, private endpoints and NSGs give scope defense in depth, and PIM keeps privilege temporary. If you do one thing this week, turn on conditional access requiring multi-factor authentication for all users in report-only mode, set break glass exclusions, then promote it to enforced. Because Azure security features and licensing tiers change often, confirm the current behavior and what your Entra license covers in the official Azure documentation before you roll out. If this helped, do me a favor, hit the like button, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. See you in the next video.